Hey guys, I promised you guys this video today, and I think it's going to be pretty exciting. How to make $1 million selling real estate. Now, what I'm talking about is $1 million in gross commissions, and I'm going to do this from based on my personal numbers and my personal production and stuff. You know, each market's a little bit different. I only call people that I think want to sell. I'm calling for sale by owners, expireds, withdrawals. I'm calling notices of evictions. I'm calling notice of foreclosures. I'm calling people that I think have some motivation to sell, or they've got a sign out front of their house, or they had a sign out front of their house. I'm not cold calling. So these numbers, if you're cold calling in your market, your numbers are going to be a little different. So this is going to be just a basic explanation of how to make $1 million selling real estate. Okay, here's what we have. We have a goal of 1 million. Okay, I got my notepad here. I got my calendar pulled up there on my screen, or my calculator pulled up there on my screen. Okay, in my market right now, my average commission is about $3,000 per transaction. Now, what I've learned is calling expireds, for sale by owners, withdrawals, all those different things I talked about a minute ago. For every 100 calls, I will set one appointment. Now, I'll tell you, typically, I don't typically use a dialer, so we're going to say that I'm dialing, actually dialing manually. Typically, I'm going to dial about 40 to 50 numbers per hour. Let's just say 40. Well, 40 to 50 numbers per hour. Let's just say I'm not distracted. I don't have something else going on. Okay, let's see how many people. Let's see here. Okay, $1 million divided by $3,000 per transaction. I'm left with, let's go with 334. I need to make 334 listings. Okay, now I typically have about 70-75% of my listings sell. We're not counting buyers in this, so let's go with 75% of these sell. Let's see, 334. We're going to divide it by 75, because only 75% of the listings I take actually sell. So I need to list 445 listings if I'm not working with any buyers. So 445 listings. Okay, it takes me 100 calls to get a listing. So basically, we're going to take this number, 445. We're going to multiply it times 100. So if I'm going to do this in a year, let's say, that's 44,500 calls per year. Okay, let's break this down even further. Let's say, so per month, I've got to make 3,708 calls. 3,708 calls per month. Okay, and we're going to divide that by, there's 22 working days in a month. Okay, so I've got to make 160, let's go with 169. 169 calls per workday. Then we agreed that we'd say that I'm dialing 40 numbers per hour. So we're going to go 169, we're rounding up, divided by 40 calls per hour. That puts me needing to call about 4.5 hours a day. 4.5 hours a day. Okay. Now, so there it all is. Okay, so did $1 million a year. I need to sell 334 properties. which roughly would be, I need to take 445 listings, and we broke it down into calls per year. I need to make 44,500 calls per year, 3,708 calls per month, 169 calls per workday, which roughly per workday I need to make 4.5 hours a call. So I really need to do from like 8 to 1 p.m. And maybe I get 30 minutes in there for lunch, and then appointments the rest of the day. Okay, now here's the problem with this. Okay, this says that I have 3,708 people I can call a month, which that's for sale by owners, withdrawal and stuff like that. So that puts me needing about, let's see, per workday, I need 169 numbers. Now you're going to be calling a lot of these people over and over. Now, what you have to do when you're trying to work on a number this large, trying to do it this big, you're going to have to start looking for other sources of numbers, other sources of people to call. I don't like cold calling, but I posted a thing in my group a while back, Real Estate Agents That Really Work, where I put 28 ideas on places that you get phone numbers, places that you get phone numbers of people that want to sell today. To do this sort of volume, I'm probably going to have to start buying some leads from somewhere. Maybe leads like Candy.com. I mean, there's a bunch of them available, but I'm probably going to have to get lead sources and numbers from different places. I'm going to have to start calling around, some people. My calls are probably going to go up, but to get to this 334, that's the magic number, 334 sales, we're just going for gross commissions, $1 million gross commission. Okay, this doesn't count, this formula here, this also doesn't count buyer transactions. So what I've learned from, my production in the past and what I've learned from other agents is roughly you will get about 0.9 sales to 1.1 sales for every listing you take. So if you're doing this kind of volume, you got 445 signs out there in a year, which will give you 250, 300 signs out there at any given time. Man, you're getting a lot of sign calls. Now, what you need to do to handle this business is you're going to need a lot of staff. You're going to need several buyers agents. You're going to need a lot of infrastructure. So I don't want anybody to think, this plan's going to have to take work, but this is what you need to do. This is a basic outline of what you need to do to make $1 million a year as a listing agent in my market based on my numbers. Now, one thing I keep hearing people say is they want to make $100,000 a year. Okay, so I want to break this down real quick for you. I want to show you how to do it in other markets. Now, keep in mind, when I talk about my numbers, I'm calling people that I know want to sell, expireds, for sale by owners, withdrawals, people that I feel like want to sell. I'm getting a referral here and there from my sphere of influence. Okay, I hear a lot of agents talk about making cold calls. Now, I've been in the business for 12 or 13 years. I am excellent on the phones. I've been using the same scripts for years. I know all the answers to the questions. I know all the objections. I know how to overcome the objections. Every now and then you'll hear something new that's just, hey, you just can't prepare for it, But I am excellent on the phone. I mean, I have mastered the craft of being on the phone. Let's take this. The number I keep hearing people talk about with their goal is $100,000. Okay, let's do the same thing. $100,000. Okay, to make it in my market based on my numbers. Okay, $3,000 average sale. Okay, calls. Instead of 100 calls to get an appointment, let's go high. Let's go high. You're not as good as me. You hadn't been in the business that long. You're making 500 calls. I want to show you all that you guys can reach your goals. You're making 500 calls equals one appointment. Okay, you are calling like crazy. You're leaving messages like crazy. 500 calls equals one appointment. Okay, $3,000 average commission. Okay, there we go. So let's clear this out. 100,000 divided by 3,000. Okay, you need to do roughly 34 transactions. 34 transactions. Okay, let's just talk about listings. So 34 listings. Now, if you're just basing this off listings, you're going to get some buyer deals. You're going to have them fall in your lap. You're going to do more business than this. But we're just talking about listings. We're just making this as easy as possible. So 34 listings. You need 34 listings to sell. So 34 listings to sell. Maybe you're not as good as me pricing stuff either. So let's just do it based on you having 60% of yours to sell. So you need 57 listings. Okay. It's taking you 500 calls to get one listing. Let's go back over to the calculator. 500 times 57. So you're making 28,000 calls a year divided by 12 months. Okay, that's 237 or 2,375 calls a month. Okay. Divided by 22 work days in a month. That's 107 calls. Let's do 108 calls a day. Okay. 108 calls a day. 8 calls a day. Okay, divided by, let's say you're getting 40 dials an hour. Okay, that's putting you at prospecting. Let's just say 3 hours a day. Okay, look here. $100,000 gross commission. Okay, now let's talk about what it's going to take to do this. Now, this is in my market. Some of you guys have insane average commissions. You're making 8, 10, 12 grand a commission. Check. Okay, in my market, you have 2,375 calls a month. You can call new expireds, you can call old expireds, you can call for sale owners, you can call withdrawals. I mean, it's not hard to find enough numbers to hit this number. I mean, you can do this from just Red-X alone. Okay, you need to take 57 listings for the whole year. It's a little better than one a week. I mean, a couple of weeks, you're probably going to get 2. Okay, you need to close 34 of them. Now, this doesn't include any buyer transactions. So if you get 57 listings, and we use that, let's just say you do 0.8. You get some buyer deals. You do 0.8 deals per listing. Okay, let's see. 57 listings times 0.8. You're going to close 45 deals. 0.6. You're going to do 40. Let's see. You're just going to do 46 deals. We can't do a half deal, 46 deals, roughly at $3,000 a deal. That's 138,000 gross commissions. Okay, this is prospecting 3 hours a day, making 108 calls a day to for sale owners, expireds, and withdrawals, and you're going to make $138,000 in gross commissions. Tell me, why can't you do that? I mean, this is 500 calls to get one appointment.